change
Just don't forget. All right, Kathy.
it. Thank you.
Yes, that's what that is. Okay.
All right, anything,
I gotta go get my book. I gotta go to the restroom. Then I will be back.
okay? Kathy, did everybody get one of these?
No,
Just me?
yes.
Okay, I'll,
And since it was from Mr. Willis, I figured it was a personal one.
yeah, it is to Clay, but I'll let everybody know.
Okay.
How you doing?
Yes, sir, we cannot complain. Well, he had to work for the CDC.
Cookie back. You know Kelly Cook? Yep. How you doing? Did you know Kelly? Richard. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, wow.
Good guy.
Oh, wow. Yes, yes.
Did, Kathy, did the back of that, my travel expense, did it have two sheets that were on, I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
fine.
think I just stuck those, yeah, those two, the last two don't belong there. They have to do with a different action that I'm working, there should be two of them. Thank you. Thank you. I had to make all my notes here, okay, because I had so much stuff. Okay.
Get those turned in tomorrow.
So sweet, I wanna see the baby. Oh, look how it filled out, really now. Oh, so jealous. I don't think I'll ever hold it that long. Wow. Is that not the cutest? I mean, we didn't have those kind of things when our daughter was little. I had to take Scotch tape and tape something, because she had no hair whatsoever. Cute.
They are everyone sick,
Oh, your kid, even the baby?
even the baby.
I feel like they had 3 months worth of immunization or something, they didn't get sick.
She's sick.
Oh.
She's had 3 days worth of antibiotic shots.
Oh, no.
And they did blood work on her Saturday. And, just to make sure that they had everything covered. And they went back to, they've gone to the doctor Friday morning, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning. They went back this morning and the doctor said, everything is looking good. We're gonna move her off of the shots and put her on.
Great.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Hey, when in January will you have your first meeting, since December 2nd is usually a holiday?
Well, January, we're having it January the 3rd is our
Oh,
first
okay.
meeting. We're gonna, instead of having it on the first Monday, we're gonna have it on Tuesday. Because our second meeting falls on Martin Luther King
I
Day.
know.
So we've gotta have a meeting, so,
Yes.
they voted to have it on the second.
Awesome, or the 3rd.
Amazing.
The 3rd, yes, Tuesday the
That's
3rd.
awesome. All right, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just to make sure, and Orlando, so she's a ICU nurse.
Oh.
And she was like, "All right, this is what's going on." And we were like, she has 5 days.
I thought this was your Columbus baby.
This is, Monday, and that's a gift.
So when you went down to Beach in Florida, I thought you were to Columbus. Did you all drive? Wow.
Excuse me, it's getting awful dry.
Gotta see that baby though.
Yes.
Would you get me a present?
You wouldn't like this present, Jim.
Bet I would, I'd love to set that, oh, I thought that was.
I made an advent calendar for somebody
Oh, that is
that I brought to him today, and it lights, that I can get it.
Awesome. My child just said, Mom, you need to make me an advent calendar, and I said, explain that. She says, bracket gifts. I said, "Good
And
luck."
that's it, every box
That's
has
awesome.
something in it.
Yeah, well, that's
So
sweet.
how you doing, Jim? You never called back, did you? I just wanna make sure.
I didn't get back in on it last night myself. I was, figuring it was a unique, I've never met Mennonite people. I didn't even know what it was.
Wow.
So they're all really nice, and it was a little bit different.
Yeah. You know, our plane was delayed 4 hours because of snow in Seattle.
It's
That was a
gorgeous.
long flight.
It was a very long day.
How sweet is
Very
that?
I got a
Oh,
friend
my
who's out
gosh.
there. He's got a, automotive business. He's actually my business consultant. And he's from, Washington out there.
As I told you on the phone, he had to turn around the next day and leave. So he didn't get dressed.
He gives me that to get this up on the board.
How do you do when he does video speak? How do you put that into the minutes? You just take it and, just like you're hearing the rest of the stuff?
In the minutes, I just put that he gave a presentation on and what it was about. If there's salient points that need to be captured, I capture them. If otherwise, most of the time, what he says is part of the record as in the agenda package. And anybody who wants to see his PDFs or whatever can go in the agenda package and see them.
Okay, I thought about it when I was saying, he does this video every once in a while, I'm not quite sure how that works, into the minutes. No, I was just talking mechanics, and how she makes magic happen. And she does. What is this here? Excuse me. This looks like, property title from one place to another place.
That's,
Housing authority.
yeah.
You put that on your desk?
No, he has to sign it. I asked you if you were gonna sign it, you said no.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can sign that.
Property owner.
You'll get to sign it too, but he has to sign it first. Yeah, y'all voted to do that, so that's just the paperwork to finalize what you voted to do.
Home on the range. You got her mics on.
The microphones are on.
The UGA stuff is not gonna work when you click it because it's looking for it on here.
It did not play?
He probably did, well, no, probably not. No, because it's a PDF file.
7 at night.
So, here,
We're supposed to have a retreat in the Grange, and I was just like, hey, I don't wanna miss the Christmas parade, but I can go down there and do early.
Oh, okay then.
I'm gonna walk and throw candy and give away candy, I ain't gonna ride on that.
It's Brittany here and I'm just not
Is
sitting.
this it?
Oh, okay.
yep, that's it.
Okay. But I've
God,
got it.
as you walking in that pool, you need to turn
I'll
around.
take,
Okay, Beth, out of there.
no, I think they're zooming in so that the whole team can be a part of it.
Okay.
They had class tomorrow, so they didn't want to come down here and turn around and go back. Told her, I said, that's cheap.
I wouldn't want to in this weather either.
Man,
I wouldn't want to in this weather either.
4 hours worth of drive.
Frida, it's a dashboard, a landing page for a computer. This thing right here, the dashboard, fellowship.
Way in the back.
Is that like the place where you land when you go to the website?
Yeah, the main
Plans.
page.
Okay. I'll tell her, ask her if there's a way nice. You know how you can surprise her?
I've already asked her, but
Please, please. I just don't want to surprise her.
How are you, Stephanie?
Tired. How are you? I like your earrings. Those are cute.
Thank you. I got some that are elf on the shelf.
That's interesting.
We've got to get that other ordinance that states we're just going to use whatever the Georgia Department of Transportation sends us radar and off radar.
James says he does not have the Zoom link.
Okay.
I sent it to him.
Just telling you what he said.
Tell him to look on his James R. Dutton email. I sent it to him last week on his James R. Dutton email as well as his Board of Commissioner email.
Last week.
Because I can't send it to him on text. I don't know how to do that.
She provided us with that. She's not really here.
Works for me.
Which district are you, 5? And you're 4? James is 2.
They just got it on.
Oh, okay.
Is Jenna here?
She's in the back. Let me just enter.
Still no James? You know how James is.
Last minute. I don't blame him. I would be too.
5 whole minutes. Oh, that is just precious.
Looks
It's saying, and it-
A few.
That's in that.
They're all six
Yes.
dogs. Alicia has
We're
strep
not
throat.
going to say not to have it.
Eli has strep throat.
So are you saying?
Josh is not saying what he's got right now. Those two. OG.
Then we need to.
But they told us that some other version before 19. Is that?
No, he's our attorney.
And yesterday was second article.
So he's working on her behalf. I've been talking to him and he's like, hey,
Yeah. Who used to work with who? Sure.
Look at that one.
And then the people that live out there in Yeah.
That's just wrong, isn't it?
Because that's his client.
Alicia said that's not
But he don't work, he works for
okay, that's totally nice. Okay, that was.
Absolutely not.
Oh, my Lord. I'm with you now.
Yeah, we're just saying that this is a much bigger picture than just this one thing.
Who's gonna do that? Is he gonna do it or you gonna do it? He's gonna do it. Right.
5 from EGA.
Okay.
But no James.
Real good.
No James. We have 6 from EGA.
Awesome.
Ramsey's on.
Huh?
Ramsey's on.
Sanford, Leanne, Salazar, Dillon, it is standard.
I knew it was in the agenda, it said September, and I was like, that's not right. I know that's not right.
Now there's
Kathy, you've got the mics on, but they can't hear on Zoom.
because I've got theirs muted.
But they should still be able to hear us. We just shouldn't be able to hear them.
All right, wait a minute.
James on.
Did James come on yet? 30 seconds.
Where's the sound?
See, this is my thing. Okay. Where am I at today? I don't know.
I don't know. I've got it, I understand it.
Here we go.
Got one of James's ladies.
Good evening and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners regular meeting. It is Monday, December 5th, 2022 at 6 p.m. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Gwen Flowers Taylor of District 1 to deliver the invocation, and then Commissioner Rita Johnson of District 2 will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Would you join me, please, everyone? Father God, we come to you tonight in thanksgiving and gratitude for allowing us to be here today, for allowing us just to wake up today. We thank you, Lord, for this wonderful rain that our land needs, we need it, the entire state needs it. We ask you to guide us and keep us safe as we travail through the weather that is going on tonight and tomorrow. We ask you to be with us to grant us discernment, to grant us patience and understanding in going through the issues that are coming before Spalding County government tonight. We ask you to clear our minds and open our hearts to the understanding of what is being presented. And these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Everybody should be able to see the big screen. What you're seeing on the big screen is exactly what is on the, shown to the commissioner, so there's total transparency as we go through. Item number 4, public hearing. Call for a motion to enter into public hearings.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to go into public hearing to discuss the streetlight district on River Falls subdivision.
I have a motion. Do I have a second to go into public hearings?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. Just so you know, we're technically trying to have our 5th commissioner, who is out of the country, tap in. So we're waiting to see if we can get him in here, and then he will be able to participate.
He's here, they just can't hear us, and I don't know why.
All right. Item number 1, conduct a public hearing on the street light district for the River Falls subdivision. Dr. Ledbetter or Director Letterfield?
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the reprieve. So this evening before you, we do have a public hearing on a streetlight district in River Falls. This comes to us from the residents who actually live in River Falls. They have requested a streetlight to be placed in their subdivision. They have been made aware of the cost, which is 2 lights. River Falls subdivision phase 2 will consist of a black glowing LED lights, 10 lights total, and these will be the lower wattage LEDs, so that they do conform to our lighting ordinance. The total cost is $137 per month.
Okay. Dr. Ledbetter, do we have people somebody who would like to speak?
Yes, sir, we do. Stephen Hill, please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Stephen Hill. My current address is 2101 Riverwalk Court. I currently reside in River Falls subdivision as well as one of the HOA members. Honestly, the way I can put it, best way I can put it to describe what we're going through in River Falls is if you close your eyes and turn off all the lights, that's what we go to work with and come home with every day. It is pitch black dark out there. There are no lights. The developer, when they were in the middle of construction, handing it over to the builder, apparently they didn't set up the lighting system in advance. And when the builder, basically when they sold us our homes a couple years ago, they told us that there were gonna be lights and gonna be sidewalks and all those things, but we got none of those. And we've basically been struggling, and as of late, we've had some theft in our community, and we're just trying to do something to kind of curb those things before it becomes a major issue for us. And I know, I speak on behalf of just about everybody in our subdivision, that the cost is well worth the investment it takes for us to have some kind of lighting, especially just down our main pathway will be very beneficial to us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hill. We appreciate it. Dr. Ledbetter, is there anybody else to speak on?
No, sir, no one else has signed up to speak.
Mr. Chairman, for the public hearing, is it okay for us to ask questions as well?
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask, Ms. Littlefield, how does it, oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
How does that happen? Not that I'm saying that you had anything to do with it, but how did we accept a subdivision or a plan for a subdivision that didn't have street lights and didn't have sidewalks I mean, was it a I'm just not knowing why they're here even asking for this if we accepted the roads in the subdivision.
Ma'am, Mr.
I'm
Chair?
confused.
Ma'am, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So at the time that this subdivision was established, I did go back and look it up. There was no mention of lighting in the ordinance at that time. And this is part of why I wanted to pass the lighting ordinance. That's part of why it was proposed, so that we can go back and have a mechanism to regulate those areas that are in agreement that they want street lights. But at the time that this one was accepted and passed, it was not necessarily a requirement of your ordinance.
Do we know when that was?
Off the top of my head, no ma'am. I can certainly provide that information to the commission.
So, yeah, I'm just totally confused at how we could have a subdivision that, we didn't know you weren't having lights, or a sidewalk.
All right, we fixed this now, correct?
We have,
I do have
yes,
a
sir.
question.
Okay.
Are we anticipating more situations like this before we pass the ordinance? Will we have more subdivisions that come to this that do not have these lights?
It is
Sidewalks?
possible. There are other smaller subdivisions that have been approved, and they've been through the process of the subdivision ordinance as it was written at the time. It is possible that we will have other subdivisions come forward in agreement that the residents are in full agreement, and I have signatures. This is the thickest streetlight file we have right now, because these residents are very adamant that they want this and that they are willing to
Absolutely.
pay out of
Yeah,
pocket
me too.
for it.
Oh, okay,
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
So what are we doing about,
You've got to close this one and then you'll open the second
All right.
one.
all right, I have a motion to close. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. Do I have a motion to go into a public hearing for application 22-09 Zulu, Clinton C. O'Brien and Sandra O'Brien Mallory, owners, HFG Development Agent, 480 Tomachichi Road, approximately 85.90, located in land lot 49 and 50 of the 3rd Land District. Applicants request rezoning from AR1, which is agriculture and residential, and R2, which is single-family residential, to C2 manufacturing.
Mr. Chairman, I believe one of the applicants would like to address the commission.
Did we vote?
No, you did not.
Okay. All those in favor signify by raising your hand.
Who made the motion?
Was there a motion?
There
Is-
was
is
not a
this-
motion.
I'm
This
confused.
is the second public hearing.
It's not listed on there as a public hearing.
We have 2 public hearings tonight.
Okay.
This
Oh.
is the second hearing for this case. Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
motion to go
Okay.
into the public hearing for application 22-09Z.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. Dr. Ledbetter?
Mr. Chairman, I believe you have one of the applicants requesting to make a statement to the board at this time.
All right. Mr. Robert?
My name is Robert Knight with HFG Development. The address is 827 Fairways Court, Suite 326, Stockbridge, Georgia, 30281. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you guys for your time. We appreciate the opportunity to continue to be a part of the Spalding County business community and raising the bar with quality developments here. We at HFG have taken every effort to create a project that complies with the zoning ordinance, the comprehensive plan, and the future land use map. We've previously held a town hall meeting with the community and attended multiple meetings of the Planning Commission, which recommended approval, as did the community development staff. We revised our concept plan and self-imposed conditions to address concerns we heard from the community. Some of the neighbors have very recently retained an attorney who wants to meet with us to discuss the project, which we are happy to do, so that we can make sure that we make every effort to hear from and meet with the community and their attorney. We would ask that the Board of Commissioners table this application so we have time to hear and address any new concerns that these individuals may raise. In the event, of course, that the BOC would like to hear public comment and vote on the application tonight, we are prepared to present this application, but reserve the majority of our time for rebuttal. And that's all I have. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Dr. Ledbetter?
There are a number of people who would like to speak this evening for and against the application, but in light of the request to table, what say the commission?
Do I have a motion to table?
Motion to table.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? Now, this is contingent upon the two attorneys meeting, correct?
That is correct.
That's why the time is being given.
That is correct.
All right. Any more discussion? All,
Mr. Chair, may I invoke the floor privilege, please? Do you want to set a time frame to revisit this or leave it an open-ended table?
Staff would make the recommendation that there be a very short amount of time for this discussion to occur, and we would bring this back before the board with your consideration on January the 26th.
That will be the next zoning meeting.
That's correct.
all right, next zoning meeting. All right,
So do I need to
amend your,
amend my motion to?
Yes,
amend your
please.
motion
I need
table
to.
until
I make-
the 26th?
Right, I'll make a motion, I'll amend my motion to make the motion that we table this application until the next zoning meeting in January of '23.
And I'll amend my second.
okay, I have a motion and a second amended. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Motion is tabled.
You need to close public hearing.
Yes, please.
Motion to close the public hearing on item application 2209Z.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. Presentation and proclamations. Consider request from Fire Chief Glenn Polk to recognize the graduates of the 2022 CERT class. Chief Polk.
You want to give people some time to clear out?
You want to give them a few minutes to exit?
Yes, those of you that were here for the Tamachichi, if this is, would be a great opportunity for you all to exit without disrupting the rest of the meetings. And thank you for coming and showing your interest in Spalding government, your Spalding government.
While they're doing that,
Did you, Kelly, still not here?
Should we be hearing back?
Good
Yeah,
evening,
in a few weeks.
Sheriff Dix. Good evening.
Now it sounds like you can do something.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, Chief Polk.
Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to come before you tonight. We had scheduled our 16th and 17th CERT program that we've had since 2012. Well over 350 people since 2012 have gone through our program. It's a 6-week program learning anything from medical operations to fire safety to disaster preparedness. And we did our 16th program was specifically for UGA Griffin to help their staff be better prepared on campus. And then we did a community program, that was our 17th program. And we did them at the same time, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and just to try to accommodate everybody. And most of them are here tonight. I'd like for them to come on up so you could see them. And they took a great interest in just being prepared. You know, there might be a little time delay if we encounter our emergency or disaster. And they shown interest in trying to be prepared for themselves, maybe their family, even their neighbors. And so I just applaud them for their
Thank you,
efforts
guys.
to want to learn more.
Congratulations.
And none of it could have been done without our instruction staff.
Thank you, guys.
Chief Mike Bird and Chief Joseph Miller helped us out. We all divvied up the different classes along with Lieutenant Rocky White. He couldn't be with us tonight. But we all did it together and we had a great class. So
Okay.
very proud of these guys.
Did we get to take a picture?
Yes, we're taking a picture with them, sure. We're great, that's a really good.
All by themselves first.
All right, the center of the plaque is right there, so if everybody would kind of move around so we get the plaque in the center. I also direct movies. And then we're probably gonna have to make 2 rows. Chief, you come up here with me in the front. A short guy. Wait on the other side of the plate. Whoa.
All right, now they won't look on themselves, they won't look on themselves first before we jump in.
Okay, yeah.
All right, ready?
Did you all get pictures? Did you all get pictures? All the family members and everybody? All right, let's just keep your people up here, and the Board of Commissioners get out of the way of what's really important. Steve, you're supposed to be taking pictures.
Test.
The color you. The color you done.
If anybody needs to come forward and take pictures, please don't hesitate to do that. All right, thank you. Oh, thank you. You may be the responder that's going to take care of it, so that's important. Does anybody want to speak, or are you going to talk some more?
Y'all have one more thing.
We could hear.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Slide behind you.
They were a great bunch, but one thing that while we had your attention, one thing that Chief Bird and myself have been talking about for a long time is just to be able to thank you guys for y'all support y'all give us to be able to do what we do and provide for our citizens. So what we have is a thing we call a challenge coin. You may be familiar with them, and we specifically designed these for our department. And on the back, it has on there, you make a difference. And the only way you can get one of these is if you do something above and beyond what's expected of a person in our position. And y'all do that every day for us, me personally and for our department and for our community. So we just want to take a minute and recognize, because y'all have done a lot of supporting for us this year with a lot of challenges we've had ourselves. So so we thank you for what y'all do for us, and we really appreciate it and look forward to what we're going to be doing in the future.
We thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something too? Chief Polk, I just want to thank you guys because for those people who went through the course, I know how hard it is when you have no medical or safety background and taking a chance and going and putting yourself out like that.
Sorry, we're trying to test the mics because they
Oh,
can't hear
okay,
us.
but this empowers people to just become great leaders because they're not afraid. They know what needs to happen. I mean, God forbid that we have a disaster.
Right.
But, I would love to make sure that I'm sitting on a bus next to one of these people because they won't be scared. They won't think, okay, I'm gonna do something wrong. They will say, okay, I know I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. So I think this is awesome. I appreciate all that you guys are doing, and maybe one day it'll be in the College and Career Academy, or the CERT class will be in
Maybe.
high school, because clearly there's a lot of emergencies that happen in the school, and having the same kind of trained people, young people, will be huge. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do.
Thank y'all for all y'all do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, do we need to go out and then restart the meeting?
They still can't hear.
Asked them.
Item number 2.
I can't hear
Mr. Chairman, could we get a motion to move item number 2 down the agenda for this evening? We are struggling to get UGA to be able to hear and talk on Zoom. And we have 6 of them online this evening to present. So while we're working in the background to satisfy some technical issues, we can move on to other business if that's okay with the
Do I have a
commission.
motion to move it further down until they can come on technically?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, I have motion and second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. We'll wait and see if we can technically take care of this.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dutton can't hear us either.
Who seconded?
It was
I did.
Gwen and Rita.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Item number 6, citizen comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, the topics they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your comments to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with the individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertaining to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speakers will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. Dr. Ledbetter.
First up this evening is Miss Amy Claxton. If you would please step forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
And they can't hear us either.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Amy Claxton. I reside at 50 Partridge Path in Griffin. And I would like to ask if I can do that, if I could have my husband's time slot and speak during his 3 minutes also, if that's permissible.
No. It says very specifically.
I was told that I could ask permission from the board for that. So I was just asking if I could. I have 4 questions for you,
So you want your husband to speak, you want to take your husband's 3 minutes? Is that what you're saying?
in addition to my 3, please. I just have 4 questions. I want to make sure I get them all in.
We've done that in the past, I guess.
I don't have a problem with it, it's just that we can't answer any questions.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
okay.
Start
If
through.
that's possible. I have the questions here I'd like to leave with you because I would hopefully get some follow-up in the future. But my issue has to do with the speed zone cameras, particularly the one that I've experienced on Rehoboth out in the county, and some of the issues around that. I have a number of questions I'll be asking the sheriff on Wednesday, an appointment I have with him. I'm pursuing some questions with the DOT that I have, but I have a few questions for for you guys. I wasn't quite sure how things work in the county. So my first question is, how, in general, how does your oversight function for the sheriff's department here in the county? As a commissioner, is my understanding you have some oversight there. So that was one question. Has there been any that you guys have implemented over this program that is now currently in operation? My third question is, who is overseeing the allocation of the revenue from the program? And what recourse do citizens have in this, with this issue, if they have if we have a problem with it even being implemented in the first place? Since I believe it was done without community approval. And possibly, I don't know how much approval you guys gave. I haven't been involved in it. It's something I've been researching recently. So those are my 4 questions that I would like to receive answers on. I have them typed up here with my contact information, if that's how we proceed from here.
If you'll pass your questions on to the county clerk.
Okay.
The county clerk and the county manager will address those with you as they see appropriate.
And
Thank
I
you.
also wanted to thank you guys for everything that you do. I know it's difficult when you have so many different people with different opinions and you're trying to solve a problem for everyone in the county, and there's a lot of cross purposes there. So I appreciate the difficulty that you experience. I just would like to know a little bit more about how things work. So thank
But
you for that.
You did say that you have a meeting with the,
I do have a
Sure.
meeting scheduled
Okay.
with the sheriff
Okay.
on Wednesday
All right.
afternoon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Kathy, take
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, Mr. Brian Claxton, you're not wanting to speak? Correct. All right, thank you. That's all that have signed up this evening.
All right. Item number 7, presentation of financial statement. Consider approval of the financial statement for the 4 months ended October 31st, 2022. Ms. Garrison.
In October, we received the fire insurance premium tax. We received $3.3 million, and we had only budgeted 3.1, so that's good news. Tax revenues have not started coming in yet. I expect the tax commissioner to possibly give me a half a month of December, so maybe we'll have some revenue by December the 15th, 20th, something like that.
When, if we have to do a tax anticipation note?
We would have had to do that back in September, August
Okay.
or September, much earlier.
Okay, so basically, we're just gonna be running our stuff off of fund balance until revenue starts coming in from taxes. I also noticed that in the financial report, that all of the expenses that weren't paid for in the last year got moved over.
Yes, ma'am, that's
Into-
gonna be the budget amendment that,
Later on.
that y'all
Okay.
will be considering later on.
Okay.
And is it realistically to probably think that in January, we're gonna probably have more of those, because obviously property taxes are due on the 31st of this month?
Well, typically the banks, that, you know, collect and pay property taxes for their mortgagees, typically they pay early.
Okay.
So they are probably paying right now. And especially since the folks that, you know, have their mortgages, they want to be able to
That's right.
take it off on their taxes.
Mhm.
So they will get it in early.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the financial report for the 4 months ending October 31, 22 as presented.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenna.
Item number 8. Thank you, Jenna, Ms. Garrison. Item number 8, minutes. Consider approval of the minutes from the Spalding County Board of Commissioners special called meeting and regular meetings on November 7th, 2022, and the Spalding County Board of Commissioners special called meeting and executive session on November 9th, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve the aforeread minutes.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Minutes are approved. Item number 9, consent agenda. There are a number of items on the consent agenda this evening, as many of them can be approved with no discussion. If there is discussion required on any of the items, all a member of the board has to do is indicate that they want to discuss that item, and it will be moved, the item from the bottom of the consent agenda. The items on the board has no problems with, will be approved in one vote after all the items are read, and those that need discussion have been marked for discussion. Dr. Ledbetter.
I will be more than happy to read the consent agenda for consideration. Number 1, consider approval of the 2023 renewal of business alcohol license of wholesale distribution Jackson Beverages LLC, DBA Beverage South Griffin LaGrange, located at 915 South Pine Hill Road, Griffin, Georgia 30223. There are no violations. Number 2, consider the approval of the following new 2023 business alcohol license of alcohol wholesaler distribution, liquor only with conditions. Terry Briggs Santeri Incorporated, located at 413A Odell Industrial Way, Griffin, Georgia 30224. No violations. There are no on-site and less than a case storage for the 413 Odell Industrial Way. The facility is being used dually with Briggs Brothers Construction and is not up to code for on-site storage of or zoned for dual use. This address is temporary, and Mr. Briggs is currently getting the adjacent property at 429 Industrial Way up to code and will be using that location in the future. Number 3, consider approval of the following 2023 alcohol license for retail sales of beer, wine, and liquor. Sadra Ali Zatella Express, located at 4319 Noonan Road, Unit A, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. There are no violations. Baljinder Singh, Highway 155 Package Store, located at 3430 North McDonough Road, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. There are no violations. Number 4, consider the approval of the following 2023 alcohol license renewals for the sale of retail beer and wine. Kinjal Patel, J. Mahakali, 1080 Incorporated, DBA Valero Food Mart, located at 2995 North Expressway, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. There are no violations. Pravin Bahai Patel, J. Vasudev Incorporated, DBA Expressway Food Mart, located at 2903 North Expressway, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. No violations. Tushar Patel, Royal Store LLC, DBA Exxon Food Mart, located at 2295 North Expressway, Griffin, Georgia. No violations. Shirag Desai, Arihant C Stores, DBA Tony's One Stop, located at 4275 Highway 1941, Hampton, Georgia, 30228. No violations. Aziz Ali, High Value Business Ventures Incorporated, DBA Chevron Food Mart, located at 3200 High Falls Road, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. No violations. Number 5, consider the approval of 2023 alcohol license renewal for consumption on premises. Jimmy R. Allen, Big Jim's Wing Shack Incorporated, located at 1557 Williamson Road, Suite B, Griffin, Georgia, 30224. No violations. Number 6, consider approval of the 2023 renewal of alcohol license beer only. High Falls Convenience LLC, DBA High Falls Food Mart, located at 2662 High Falls Road, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. No violations. Number 7, consider approval of the 2022 new alcohol license for retail sales of beer for Kareem Ratnani High Falls Convenience LLC, DBA High Falls Food Mart, located at 2662 High Falls Road, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. There are no violations. Number 8, consider approval of a consider approval of a street light district for Sun City Peachtree Pods 13 and Pod 14. That's all that's on the consent agenda for this evening.
So, Mr. Chairman, I do have questions about items 6 and 7.
Okay, we'll pull items 6 and 7 out.
And otherwise, I would like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda minus items 6 and 7 as presented.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second.
Somebody's got to say.
We can actually hear you, James.
And so he can hear us, yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of the consent agenda minus 6 and 7, please raise your hand. 4-0. All right, let's go to item number 6. Dr. Ledbetter?
I will refer to Ms. Littlefield, but it's my understanding that item number 6 and item number 7 are for the same establishment. Item number 7 should be the first on the agenda, not the second, as this is the new application for this year, and item number 7 is for the renewal. Since they are at the end of 2022 and they are wanting to sell during the Christmas holidays, they are required to obtain the license for the remainder of the month, and then that would trigger the renewal for next year.
Okay, well, that explains it.
Okay.
Okay, motion to approve items 6 and 7.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
they've had a policy change with, all Georgia Power and EMC. We are required to sign those contracts. I have them available for signature. but I do need direction on who is to sign. Is it the county manager or is the commissioner, as this was accepted by motion?
So this is for the streetlight district.
Yes, sir.
Typically, it's the chairman.
Chairman.
There have been times where, without the chairman here, I have been authorized to sign, but since the chairman's here, it would be beneficial for us to get his signature.
Thank you.
Item 10, new business. Consider approval of the FY 2023 budget amendment. Ms. Garrison, you're back up again.
Wait a minute, Clay, did you mention the street, you did mention the street lights at Sun City. Did you do that already?
Yeah, we got
Okay.
those in there.
All right.
Okay, the first three budget amendments are for open purchase orders at the end of 2022. These are items that we've done a purchase order for, we're still going to get them. It's just they won't be paid for in 2022, so we have to move them to 2023 and then reappropriate the money that was already appropriated for them. So that's what the first three are. The fourth one, at a prior meeting on August 1st, the board approved moving money into the motor coach salaries to raise those salaries. And this is between departments. And so I can't do that without coming to the board because it's technically an appropriation of new money for the motor coach
Okay.
department, but it's moving money from the leisure services budget.
Okay? That's
So
all
it's
for
not an appropriation of new money, but it is an appropriation for the motor coach budget.
one,
Little bit of funds.
one line item, one director.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Thank you for that one. James?
5-0.
All right, thanks you, James, for joining, and thank you for 5-0. Okay? Ms. Garrison? Okay, we can hear you also. I-
This next one
Let me
is-
read that just a second. Consider the update to the local financial purchasing policy procedures to comply with the federal grant purchasing regulations. Ms. Garrison, I'm sorry.
Okay, in doing some training for one of the sheriff's JAG grants, I realized that we needed to update our financial policies to include federal procurement procedures so we could be in compliance for any kind of federal grants that we might go out for. And so at the very end of this policy, I have incorporated the federal procurement procedures that I got from the Federal Code of Regulations in my training.
Okay.
So, my question, we have generally, of course, it's been a while since we had federal grants. I know some of the JAG grants are, but generally, what I saw that you put in basically says that any federal money that we get, we have to look for minority vendors. We have to show some effort that we've done that.
Yes, ma'am, that's in here.
And I guess my question is, how well do we do that? How well are we doing that? And I know that in terms of the sheriff's department, they basically run their thing how they want to. However, if they are getting ARPA money or federal money, it's federal money. So what are the clawbacks for us if the sheriff's office doesn't go through that procedure?
I would assume that somebody could voice a complaint and send it in to the
Federal government?
federal government.
Okay.
And, you know,
And then
at worst, they'd take the money back.
Okay. But that has not been part of our actual policy, our purchasing policy.
It has not been a part of the federal policy. I believe it is a part of our policy.
Okay,
But this
that-
is specifically in the federal procurement portion that I've added.
Okay, because I,
It's minority and women-owned.
businesses.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, if I may, Commissioner Flowers Taylor, most of the time, those grant applications will also have addendums to them with affidavits that basically set out these requirements as well. So even if it wasn't in the policy, we would have been signing affidavits swearing that we were doing these things as far as minority-owned business, disadvantaged businesses, women-owned businesses,
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, I know we're signing the paper, but are we doing? That's what I'm trying to get at,
Well,
and how
I
do
would
we know that
certainly
we're
hope
doing
so.
it?
Honestly.
Yes, ma'am, we are doing it by complying with the Georgia Registry. That's one aspect of that required, making sure that we're paying attention to those types of opportunities for everyone, not just a few.
Okay.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve the additions to the financial purchasing policy in order to comply with federal grant purchasing regulations.
All right, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying so. Thank you, James. 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garrison. Item number 3, consider an increase to the spending limit for the county manager from the current $25,000 to $50,000 to enable the county manager to better conduct the business of the county.
With all the challenges that are going on inside of our supply chain and the increase to all of the cost associated with doing business, and to be in compliance with the Spalding County Water and Sewerage Facilities Authority request to move our director's spending from 25 to 50. The request is that we do the same for me so that I can actually sign off as a secondary signature for the work that he's doing and that the county's doing. Our insurance deductible is also at or above the 25,000 as a result of the increase in what's going on. So we're working to be as compliant as we can so we don't have to bring everything before the Board of Commissioners. That being said, I am extraordinarily transparent in everything that I do. I bring to the board and let you guys know what we're spending money on, how we're spending money. Should there be any issue at all, and I do not foresee any issue, but should there be any issue at all, the Board of Commissioners could reduce that back from 50 to 25 at your discretion.
Yeah. So I'm that person who doesn't trust people. I'm just gonna say it. I think that the reason that we had the $25,000 limit was because we had evidence that, there was some going outside of the purchasing policy to meet some other things. However, can you remind me of what situation happened recently that we needed to have you to be able to pay $50,000? That kind of spurred this whole thing coming on. Can you refresh us on that?
Yeah, there were a few areas of opportunity that were going on inside of the Water and Sewerage Facilities Authority and the work that they have going on with the move of the water line at the Flint River Bridge on 16. And it was about $47,000. It was well within the authorized expenditure for the move, and the contractor needed to move quickly, and it would have just been a lot easier if I could have just, with Joseph, signed off on the work that he had moving that item forward. There have been some additional items that were over at the Rosenwald construction where it was $43,000 for a particular construction item that was going on. It was well within the guidelines that the board had approved for, God bless you, for the construction and within the budget, and it would have been just expeditious for me to have signed off on that and move it forward.
So, I don't know what the answer is. I understand that this is something, I mean, I know the Water Authority is different than who the Board of Commissioners is, and I get where you're coming from with this. I'm never gonna be good with somebody having the ability to spend $50,000 of county taxpayer money without me knowing about it.
I would always bring it to you, yes, ma'am.
And so, that being said, that is my only concern with this. Just know, that's where I am.
May I speak to, I appreciate your comments there. And I know that you are transparent. We'll obviously hold you to your transparency, so, you know that. But just for public, and also for ourselves, 159 counties, county managers obviously have discretion. Where does that fall into the other county managers, out of curiosity?
So I've actually checked against some of our adjoining counties in how their administrators or managers are afforded the opportunity to sign off. Between the 25 and 50 is where they are
Is the standard.
allowed to sign off.
Okay. I think that's important to state that. So-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
One other question. So when we're talking about the surrounding counties and we're looking at, our budget is $49 million thereabouts, and someone else's budget, Henry County or Clayton, may very well be $100 million. So $50,000 out of a $100 million budget is a lot different than $50,000 out of 49. I mean, I'm just being me. I'm not feeling good and warm and fuzzy about it, and so I'm just fussing. So let me just hush.
Okay. James, did you make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve, yeah.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4, consider the first reading, a resolution to amend the county ordinance rules of the road designed to support the work of aligning the county ordinances with the official code of Georgia, annotated in a way that strengthens the citations written by the sheriff's office and reduces the requirement for adding incongruent, inconsistent, and opposing ordinances within the code. Ms. Wyndham.
Mr. Chairman, you have the rules of the road resolution before you, and this is done pursuant to the Georgia code in the same form that the code requires. It would incorporate all of the rules of the road. It specifically leaves out Article 15, which is, those are your more serious vehicular homicides, DUIs. So we're not including those in our ordinance in adopting the rules of the road. This is going to prevent us from, every time something changes, we have to come back and make changes to our ordinances. And as we've seen recently, we have not done the best job of keeping up with those changes and making those changes year after year that are required. So this will, Sheriff Dix had expressed his desire to do this. As far as the penalties go, where I have blanks,
Yeah, I have a problem with blank.
we won't leave those blank. I had asked for some direction on what those should be, and Dr. Ledbetter and I discussed that. $1,000 and 3 days as maximums is what I would propose.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I know that this says you have left out chapter such and such and such, but I just don't really understand what you mean by this will make sure that we don't have congruent information or misinformation. How does that happen? I mean, how does that happen and become a problem?
When we don't update our rules of the road ordinances, for example, and they become different from the state, this saves us from having to go back and make those changes as they become different. It incorporates the state rules of the road, and it takes into consideration any changes. So it changes automatically as those change.
So what, for example, is a state rule of the road? Give me an example of one.
Oh, gosh,
Because I'm just, I mean,
there are a bunch. Yeah,
It's what I'm
Commissioner
hearing
Dutton.
you say is that the rules of the state change, we don't make a change, then we arrest somebody and find that the rules that we're operating by doesn't go.
No, our ordinances just might not match, and it can be difficult. I mean, I think probably Commissioner Dutton can address this since he defends these sort of things, but it can be difficult when you're in court to know which you're actually supposed to apply, and who wrote the citation, what if our ordinance is not in harmony with the state, and ours is stricter or less strict. It can cause confusion, and we might end up with confusing judges, confusing attorneys, and confusing parties. But
in some instances, such as, like our animal constraint laws, our rules are much more stringent than the state. And so, does that back us up off something? I'm just not quite understanding. And I guess the problem for me is we don't actually have the rules of the road right here. We have references to it. So
the
without
rules
being
of
law
the
enforcement.
Georgia rules of the road is codified in the official code of Georgia at section 40-6372 through, it goes further than 46-376, but those are the ones that I have included in here, because those are not the ones that are the more serious felony. These are
Subpart
misdemeanors.
B? What's subpart B?
Let's see.
It's like under A, section 7A.
Yes, ma'am, I just need to look it up.
And just back to your initial comment, with respect to the animal section that you discussed, that's not a part of the rules of the road. Rules of the road are specific for.
These are just traffic violations.
No, but I'm saying even with our substandard housing and zoning, some of our zoning rules are much more stringent than the state. And so I'm just trying to do an analogy of what this looks like as opposed to what that looks like, and what kind of mistakes are we making now where this is coming up and it's coming back to hit us in the face is what I guess what I'm trying to find out.
Well, I think the inverse is actually correct. And the sheriff is in the room, so I'm not going to speak for the sheriff, but I would propose that the deputies are more inclined to write state code than they are a county ordinance for a similar offense. So for rules of the road, they would be more inclined to write out of the 40 code instead of out of our county ordinances. So this is really us cleaning our ordinances in a way that is supporting our sheriff's department and the actual work that's being done. Sheriff?
I came into the conversation kind of late, so I hope I'm not tracking over something that's already been done. Several years ago, one of the situations that the city of Griffin found themselves in is people were having to, the agency, Griffin PD, was constantly having to go in front of the Board of Commissioners to get code adopted out of the 40 code so it could be run through city court. This began happening on a routine basis, and finally the idea was proposed just to adopt the Georgia 40 code as a city ordinance. And once that happened, there was no more coming back every couple of months having to have something updated or adopted. And it made the process run much smoother. It also worked to the advantage of code enforcement officers, because some of the things under the Georgia 40 code enforcement, whether they were certified or not, now was able to charge people with under code for committing the same violations.
And Commissioner Flowers Taylor, to answer your question about B that was admitted, that is another one of those things that's a felony. It's about a motor vehicle accident, and it's if such accident is the proximate cause of death or serious injury, any person knowingly failing to stop and comply with the requirements shall be guilty of a felony. So what we're incorporating is misdemeanors, not felony actions. But examples of, rules of the road are following too closely, running a stop sign, running a red light.
This is, the way I'm hearing you, Sheriff, and also Stephanie read it, it's kind of like an accountability also, I guess, for the citizens as well, as far as if we go about this dog, making sure that we're doing what we need to do, basically.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean,
And honestly, the Georgia rules of the road are very comprehensive, whereas our ordinance is not.
So, but we had instances where we had to go back and change our road ordinance because it was conflicting with the state?
I think there have been, over the years, several times that you've had to amend your ordinances.
because could this call suit to us, if it weren't done correctly? Could this fall back on us to some degree?
I would not really foresee any sort of liability on our part. It just really makes the sheriff's job easier.
Okay.
It cuts down on confusion.
Yes, James.
Can I ask you a question? First and foremost, I don't know of any time, in my career, working with these sorts of offenses, that Spalding County or the city of Griffin has written a code violation instead of a state law violation. So I'm not sure.
Probably true.
Like I get that this would clean it up and just make it easier, so we're just adopting that. But I'm not sure if the sheriff department would start writing local ordinance violations as opposed to OCGA 40 violations. Is that the intention here?
No, we would still continue to write Georgia 40 code violations. This just makes everything equal across the board and cuts out some of the confusion. It just standardizes everything, pretty much to a higher standard.
And it repeals any ordinances that we have that might be in conflict with the rules of the road.
And does that say that in here that will repeal that?
It does, yes, ma'am. Part C, I believe.
So, the city of Atlanta made, I think it was the city of Atlanta, it might have been Fulton County, but I think it was the city of Atlanta, made it a local ordinance violation, to possess marijuana. And I believe it's a $75 fine, and that's it, not arrested. And now, the city of Atlanta Police Department writes, code ordinance violations for $75 when someone's in possession of marijuana, as opposed to arresting them on the arrestable offense, the state offense. Would that same level of discretion be given to the officers here? I mean, I know that might not be the SOP, but they could write a local ordinance violation for that speeding as opposed to a state violation for the speeding.
I believe it would still be a state violation. Going back to the possession of marijuana, I believe that's also still a fingerprintable offense, so they would have to be brought in and fingerprinted on that anyway.
Well, it is when it's a state law violation.
Right.
But the city of Atlanta no longer does that. They just write them a ticket, but right there, and they say, you gotta appear in court, pay $75.
Yeah, City of Atlanta,
Atlanta has given the officers the direction, don't arrest people for misdemeanor levels of marijuana, just write them a $75 fine.
I think that type of thing would have to come with the approval of the state court judge.
Why?
I'm there, I'm just making that parallel.
Right. They also, in Fulton County and Atlanta PD, they write you citations for murder. It's what they hold you on in jail.
So Commissioner Dutton, this ordinance does, this resolution would repeal existing ordinances covering the same matters that are embraced by the uniform rules of the road. That would not prevent us from if we wanted to later on impose additional ordinances, we certainly could do that. But This will repeal anything that is in conflict with the rules of the road.
So the intention of this is not to adopt the state rules of the road as local ordinances, but to appeal all local ordinances that are not in,
That are in conflict.
compliance with.
It's to do both. It's to do both.
Now, this is the first reading, so there will be a second reading. This is our first reading.
Have y'all read the 40 ordinances? You probably have.
And don't take offense here, but is the new, school zone camera, is that part of code 40? Is that part of the rules of the road?
The,
I'm thinking is, I'm just making sure that we're not adopting that one yet.
it is not. The bus arm, camera is.
The bus arm camera is, yes, I even personally see them as two different, very, very different issues. And one should be different, one shouldn't. So we as a county are not adopting the school zone cameras as a local ordinance, right?
It is not part of this resolution, no, sir.
That there's no state ordinance about that.
There is a state law regarding the school zone speed cameras, but it is not included in the uniform rules of the road.
Okay, all right, it's different.
It's different.
Okay.
All right, get a motion to do it first time. All right, do I have a motion to approve for the first reading?
I'll second.
Who made the motion?
I thought, did you make the motion already?
No.
No, I would like to be able to read the Georgia 40, but, you know, if everybody else is okay
This
with
is
it.
just the first reading.
I hope you have a few months to wait, because it's pretty thick.
It is, it's really.
I just got like a week. Yeah, okay,
Then
did
I'll
you
make
make,
a motion to approve first reading.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you. 5-0, motion carries.
Did Ms. Gwen, did you vote?
I
for-
did vote
All right.
reluctantly.
I thought I saw her, okay.
Are we moving to the UGA presentation or not?
Hey,
We've only got one more left in new business.
Yeah, let's finish this, and then we'll, before the county manager's comment, we'll bring UGA on. That's correct.
All right, consider approval of the non-park, say it again.
Not Croton.
No, pro tunc.
Yes, for the 2022 millage rate as set by the Griffin Spalding Board Education to finalize the tax levy.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, we would indicate that this is no longer a requirement. We were able to locate the proper paperwork, and you did vote for the millage rate for the BOE, and we did certify it. So we located all of the proper paperwork for this. Please forgive me, that's on me.
Okay, item number 10, old business.
No,
No, we're going to the UGA thing, aren't
Oh,
we?
I'm sorry, yes, UGA. Consider requests from Ramey Slaughter and Brittany Standiford from the University of Georgia to review of the human resource and financial dashboards created by UGA students for Spalding County. This is exciting.
UGA, you're up.
I don't know that there's gonna be anybody there. I think they all had to go. Ms. Standifer indicated to me that they're going to record their presentation and send it in because they were over time for the room that they reserved and had to
Okay.
wrap it up. So-
Okay, so table this item.
Is it possible for them to actually come here with the presentation?
They are at the last week of their semester.
Oh,
And tonight was the last night that they could participate, so
So they're gonna record it and send it to us?
they are going to record it and then send it to us, and we can make it a part of our the December 19th meeting for review.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to table this presentation until after UGA staff or committee has recorded this and we've had time to at least
view it.
Thank you. All right, have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a-
Ryan seconded.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
Paying attention.
James, did you vote? Thank you. All right, motion carries. Old business, none. Item number 12, report of the county manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few things for this evening. The Christmas parade with the city of Griffin is scheduled for this Saturday evening. Please come and participate. It's going to be a great event. Thank you to the graduates from our CERT training. It was great to see them this evening. Thank you to Chief Polk and the fire department for putting that program together. Our Parks and Leisure team is in Carrollton this week, bidding on our next year's tournaments. So we will let you know more about the outcome from that later in the week. They are there through Friday. Our Public Works are working with McElroy Construction to finish the chip and seal on Yarborough Mill. So we should have that completed by the end of this week if all goes well. COVID testing is tomorrow at the Department of Public Health from 9 until 11. And tomorrow is the last opportunity to vote. It's election day for us. So please, if you have not, go out and vote. And that's all of my report this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
Don't have anything to offer tonight, other than the fact just to let county manager know that I would like to participate in the parade. We can I would like to ride with our firemen, so.
Awesome.
Be down for that.
Thank you.
That's all I have for tonight.
Okay.
I would love to participate in the parade, but I'm gonna be out of town, Saturday. Code enforcement. This is something that has kind of been eating at me last week. We've had a year to try to get it going. I would love to have some kind of game plan by the first of the year. And I'll sit down with you, and I'd love to sit down with the sheriff and just try to come up with some kind of idea. Because I ain't saying I'm lying to people, but we ain't got nobody out there. And I hope Miss Carmeletta's doing okay. I know she's had some medical issues, but we have nobody out there. I mean, we were actually better off with Charles Abbott. At least you had somebody to show up somewhere. Right now, we have nobody. I would like to see just something. Just something.
Agree.
This is kind of a sore topic right here too. This one's kind of starting to get to me a little bit too, is the lost and the host negotiations. You got 26 days to the first of the year. And we gotta come up, we gotta make an agreement with us in the city. And I'm not gonna let my pride get in the way. I wanna work something out, and I wanna make it work, because the only person that's gonna suffer from this is our citizens. So, just keep me posted on that. I know I'm gonna be out of town for a little bit, but just, if y'all have any meetings or sit-downs, I'd love to sit down in them, just kinda keep us posted so I can be there.
And I'm sorry, may I circle back around on that again? I forgot, well, there's something, I was gonna talk about that. I know that we're discussing where we are as a county, okay? But when we come to consensus of where we are, I think it's very important, me and Commissioner Flowers talked about this, of actually really having a public meeting for the citizens for them to understand. Because I know that people come to us a lot and say, well, you all are not doing this and you're not doing that, and why are you? People need to understand exactly what's at stake here, why we're asking for which is justifiable. We get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, so yeah, so when we do decide and come to that agreement, let's have that public hearing, and let people understand why we're doing it, and maybe we can have a pushback on the city, so they'll understand, where we're coming from. So, that's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Flowers Taylor?
Got nothing.
Commissioner Dutton?
I'm really excited that the parade is this Saturday. Unfortunately, I won't be there in person. Maybe they'll host this maybe Zoom. But I think we worked really hard on it last year, and I think we get first and second readings with the city to change their ordinance about where the parade could be, and to get them to move it back downtown. And
you're planning on being with us in the executive session, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Our prayers, thoughts and prayers go out to Walter Cox, who was a member of our planning commission. In his recent death, his family's going through a tough time, and we understand that. And we thank him for his service and pray for his family. I thought the Star Bright over in the city park was absolutely excellent. It was fun driving through the first and the second time we drove through it to be able to see it, and we really and truly enjoyed that. Commissioner Johnson, I thought your video on roads and what they're doing was absolutely great, and putting that out to the people so they see it. I want to commend you on doing those kinds of things. I know a number of you, others have done that, but I think we need to continue to do
We
that
all
so
have an
people see that. It's easy to do, and it's surprising how much impact it truly has. All right. Executive session. Consider request to conduct an executive session as provided by OCGA 50-1436 for discussion or deliberation on the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action or dismissal, or periodic evaluation or rating of a county officer or employee, and the county attorney has requested consultation to discuss pending or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial action brought to or against the county or any officer or employee in which the county, the officer may be directly involved, as provided by OCGA 50-14-2-1. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to go into closed session
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a
for the
second?
purpose of discussing personnel and potential
And potential.
litigation.
Yes. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. James? James, did you say yes? Aye, okay. 5-0. We're going into executive session.
So how does he go with us?
We go in there and open back up same.
I ain't gonna stay in here.
Okay, but I gotta close it here so people can't hear him talking.
That's fine.
How do I do it? Without closing it in there? I can mute him.
No,
No, because if I mute him in here and I mute him
you've
there,
got to close it here so we can open it there.
That's,
he's gonna have to call back in then.
that's
Yes, you'll
almost,
have to call back in.
send right back.
Okay. Well, feel free to criticize. Are you gonna email this to Lynn?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll sign your calendar and it's open for like 8:10.
Okay.
If not, it's okay.
And also, we,
Huh?
You'll let-
Okay, I'll stop by on the way from dropping John off.
Bye,
y'all. Have a good night.
if you will remind them in executive session, we do have a Christmas party tomorrow from 9 to 11.
Okay.
This is on my notes and I didn't do it. I am trying to make that, but I'm going to vote in the morning. And,
It's a drop-in event as well.
yes, I'm hoping that it's not an all-day
No.
event voting. That's what concerns me. If I was the town of Chi-Chi, I would be getting tired of coming to meetings and table. Okay, let me grab my stuff.
school's on at 4:35.
You must be in one of those that doesn't stop until 4:40.
Yes. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
One of the, one of our, local do-gooders, does frequent food and record requests. And he wants information about tickets that we dismissed, too limited, and all that kind of stuff like that.
No,
So-
I'm gonna pay it. I thought it was
It's just-
funny that I got
well,
4:35.
If it makes you feel any better, we probably had more than a dozen deputies that have had to pay in their marked cars.
That makes business.
Yeah, because if, I'll tell them, if you're going on a call, if you're going to answer a call, if you were in your official, if you're acting in your official capacity, fine. If you were just going from one side of town to the other side of town, just because you want to cut across and go fast, and they're paying, they pay them. You know, I can't expect people to pay them if, you know, if.
No, I get it. If you let me, yeah, if you're letting your officers, I get it. No, I was in my POV. I actually had left early for more. I was like, yay, the school zone's over with. I can go to 45. I was going 43 in a 25. So, yeah, have a good night.
to make a motion for Steve contract. I'm like, no, I'm voting against it.
That's 175, I'm going over your shirt. Whatever it is, Megan.
Yeah. Oh. Even though I ain't read the contract. I got no problems with that. No problems with that.
Let's do it, y'all, let's do it, I'm ready to go eat.
You gotta wait till Cassie get her stuff together.
So everybody knows, ACCG sent us a, Merry Christmas card. Oh. Yes.
Oh,
I'd like to talk to you about opioid. That thing, one.
Why do you wanna talk to me about opioids?
yeah, he's trying to get some stuff while he's in.
And I wanna talk to you about the thing that they're trying to get me, something about the justice grant. Somewhere in there, they're asking me
Rita,
something
it's
about
a,
justice.
Monday's a long day for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but on top of everything else, come back from Macon and all that.
Okay,
Yeah,
if I need to
I
do
feel
something, you gotta
bad.
kick me and tell
It'll be
me.
better.
If
Get
there's
your
a
big
link,
glass of wine
there's a
first.
link.
No, I got it,
Sign
I
the
got it both.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, me too,
Justice
first thing in the morning.
That was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
good.
um,
Oh, I hope it's not raining.
It is.
Can we go, Kathy?
Not yet.
Okay.
He wants me
I'm
to
sorry?
go
Did
do
Doug
that.
talk to you
I'm
today?
leaving Friday to go to
Who?
Costa Rica.
Doug.
Yes,
Oh, for how long?
Come back Wednesday.
he said it's 350.
Me neither.
$350,000, I think, a month. That's what we're talking about, from where we were to where we are.
They do have a lot of bugs, though. Ooh.
Bugs and snakes and.
Is that why you went down?
Really?
No.
Is that why you going?
I'm
Which
fishing.
I think.
Oh,
adds
yeah,
up
and
to-
great
sure
fish.
James
That's what he
can
does.
That's what he
He does
says. I mean,
bugs
you know,
and
this
Yeah, well, I
is,
mean, I guess if you put the stuff on, if
where
I'm
he
allergic
is
to all
to where
bugs,
we
putting
want him
on
to be.
something.
He said
But Cora went there and
$350,000.
stayed at a hostel, and she slept in a hammock.
I said,
And of course, her
It's
room
not how
didn't
I
have
see it,
any
but okay.
screens
Thank
on
you.
it. She did have a net
just get ready, it's
over
coming back to you.
her
I'm
hammock
sure
that
he's
she
gonna
slept in.
make that.
But she said it was just great.
1% of lost
That's cool.
is
You can eat for like
$29,000 a year.
75 cents, a whole meal. Oh, wait a minute. And then Costa Rica. You having your wife?
She don't want to go. I got to go.
You should take her.
He's an, he's an international
Come
watch.
back with a blood girlfriend.
Now, I'm hoping that, I don't know what we can take that money from, for
Okay,
the
what we waiting
opioid
on?
money that
We
you
waiting
talked
on
about.
Kathy to tell us what we can say.
Sorry, Kathy.
I think if we could give it to.
What they doing over
Yeah,
there?
yeah, let her
CSB
get her life
or
together.
something like that.
He
Just-
hasn't come back on.
They're
He's
doing
out
it
here
for us.
home.
Well, he ain't got to. We got this
They're
four
doing,
of us.
treatment for us and stuff like that.
That is allowed.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, can I have a motion to come out of,
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to come out of closed session.
all right, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All right, Commissioner Flowers Taylor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to, first motion is to authorize, the county manager to present our,
Contract, annual contract?
no.
Lost.
To present our most recent update for lost negotiations to the city of Griffin officially.
Okay, I have a motion. That goodbye, everybody, the wording? Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Is James with us?
He's not.
Okay, 4-0, motion carries. All right,
Mr. Chairman, I would also like to make a motion to accept the county manager's contract as presented to us in closed session.
all right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 4, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by raising your hand.
All right, let's get out of here. Enjoy your vacation, be careful.
So we'll see you Saturday at the parade.
Okay.
7 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock parade?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
7 o'clock.
I'll get with Glenn as far as where to meet and all that stuff.
So you can get your fire truck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride in a golf cart.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You need me to get you one?